and love in an up-to-date, edgy style. Religion, Ho-Ho's way. All right, well, welcome, and we are in the attic on Religion Ho-Ho's Way on this very special Sunday edition, and I have a very special guest with me. He is a good friend. We have been together, well, we have known each other. Wow, that was awesome. We have known each other for roughly 4 years, 5 years maybe?
Approximately, yes.
Yeah. And he is my GBFF. That is my gay best friend forever.
Hey.
That's right. And he is also host of Phoenix Radio. He's been doing that now for like maybe 3, 4, 7 days a week.
About a week.
Yeah, about a week. So, you know, he's just as new into this as I am. So, yeah, neither one of us know what we're doing, really, you know. So
just bear with us.
Yeah. So we're here to have fun. We're here to have a good time. And today's topic is homophobia.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes, that's right, guys. Homophobia. And, you know, I actually have an interesting view on homophobia. Should I share that now?
I think you should.
My interesting view on that? All right. Let's go with that. So, in a matter of speaking, that's your foot. I'm sorry.
Yep,
we're playing footsie. So, what I kind of think is what most people have, where most people's homophobia comes from is their own insecurity in their own sexuality.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah, and that's where, you know, that's where most people stumble with it, is because they, you know, and I don't even think it's so much as that they're afraid that they'll be, you know, viewed as gay. I just really think that they're really unsure with, you know, of their own sexuality.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. You know, and I'm one of them weird people. You know, John and I has had some amazing conversations.
Like you have no idea.
Oh, wow. We've literally talked about anything. I mean, just
anything.
Yeah.
Nothing is off limits.
No. Penises, vajayjays.
Boobs.
Yeah, oh yeah. We had the milking. Mama. You know, we've talked about quite a bit. You know, our conversations has really dabbled into a lot of different places. You know, and that's one of them things, you know, and John, he can attest. I mean, I'm an odd duck. You know, because
none of us are quite right, to be honest. But
yeah, not at all. But it's like, I mean, I don't care. I mean, we've had in-depth conversations about things. I mean, like I'm totally secure in who I am, you know, my sexuality. I mean, I love the powder puff. Oh my God. Oh, the good Georgia peach. Just nothing tastes better. I'm sorry.
Over here.
You know, just good times. But I mean, I acknowledge beauty wherever beauty is, no matter the body, and it doesn't matter to me. That's why I can say that you're a sexy man.
Well, thank you, sir.
You are
right
welcome.
Back at you.
It's no, I'm a grizzly bear. I know what I am in the community. I have been told.
Yes, that is what you would be classified in the LGBTQ what the fuck ever community.
I'm a bear, grr baby. I love it. Oh, it's great. Good times. You know, if I would have been told that, you know, because I wanted to be a bear whenever I was a kid. You know, I mean, if I would have known that, you know, my childhood dream could have come true, I might have considered it more. It's just throwing that out there. You couldn't keep a straight face at all on that one.
I'm sorry, I tried.
Oh, that was awesome. Yeah, so I've got a couple stories that I mean, this is going to be a little bit of a different episode. Aren't they all? But, you know, there's just some topics that, you know, I'm wanting to discuss. And, you know, with you being a member of the
what the fuck ever, right?
Yeah, you know, the rainbow community. Yeah, let's just call it the rainbow community.
Let's do that. That's less of a mouthful.
It is less of a mouthful. You know what else is less of a mouthful?
Where are we going with this?
My penis. All right, guys. So
anyway,
like I said, this will be explicit, and I hope that your children are not listening to this.
No, because they probably should not.
They probably should not. But just as a member of the rainbow community, there's aspects of this that I really want to get your take on this. I mean, I want to
sure. Ask away.
Find out more of the struggle. So. And this is, kind of before we get to the couple news topics that I got, just as a rainbow.
Hey.
Okay, well, one thing I want to know, all right,
okay.
and this is, I'm sorry, I never got the memo on this. I'm kind of pissed. I mean, because now I can't chase the rainbow looking for the leprechaun. So who the hell gave y'all the right to take every goddamn motherfucking color?
I honestly have no idea.
That's just
what the rainbow means or why that is used as a gay pride symbol, to be honest.
I mean, what is that all about? I mean, I used to, I like rainbows, guys. What's wrong with rainbows? Rainbows are cool. Did you know that I have ADD. Did you know that rainbows are actually circles? They're halos in the sky.
Interesting.
Yeah,
no, I did not.
If you actually look at them like from a space station or whatnot, they're circles. They're halos.
I guess that just makes us angels then.
Yeah. Speaking of angels, I heard a comedian, and this was like a month ago maybe. So, if I remembered who the comedian was, I would so give him props. I really would, because this was amazing. And he was saying a prayer that he did for like Thanksgiving. Okay, and allow me to recite his prayer. It was, Dear Father God, in the Bible, John 3:16, you say that you love the world so much that you gave your only son to die on the cross. But we are all children of God, so that means in your eyes we're all a bunch of girls. So help us in our journey as we struggle with the complexity of lesbianism. Amen. I heard that and I was just, I was driving at the time and it was really difficult for me to go in a straight line. Of course, I butchered that up all to hell, but y'all get the point. It was hilarious. It was a good time, very good time. But so. Your sexuality.
Yes.
I have to admit, okay. Now with most people, and this is like, with lesbians, okay. And I've had this discussion with lesbians. I had a gal that, she told me that my voice broke right there. At 37 years old, you'd think that my testicles would be situated, but apparently they're not. And but she told me that, lesbianism is not a choice. It's it's a way you're born. And I go, no, ma'am, it is not. I go, think about it. Most of the lesbians out there, it's like, do they use, dildos and stuff like that? And she was like, well, yeah. I go, okay, so what you're telling me is you like the dick, you just hate the prick it's attached to. And she goes, okay, I can understand that. But so I have to actually admit, you are probably the only gay person that I have met. And really this, I guess, we'll just take it with gays. Talking about the guys here. You're the only one that I know that truly has never been with a woman.
And that's true. No, I have not. I gotta say, okay, I kind of almost have to agree with a little bit that maybe you're born that way. I don't know, because I just always seemed, even from an early age, just almost kind of a male attraction. Didn't exactly understand it, because I'm like, I don't think that's, what society expects, but yet I still feel this way. So yeah, growing up and stuff, I always put out there, acting straight. But, anybody who knew me could obviously tell otherwise. My friends were not surprised at all when I told them. But, it just, I don't know. I can't exactly begin to pinpoint a time when I was able to identify that I was more attracted to men, but women just really don't do anything for me. Like you said, an appreciation of beauty. Yes, I can look at a woman and be like, damn, she's hot, but does it make, my shit get up? No, it doesn't. Women just don't sexually excite me. A lot of my best friends are women. I can appreciate them.
And you've got some hot friends.
Yeah.
Hook a brother up.
Big titty friends.
Oh, God, yes. And I like to, anyway.
Anyway, but yeah, I just have always been attracted to men. And like I said, I kind of tried to hide it, tried to be straight, you know, growing up and stuff. But after a while, just like, all right, you know, this may not be right and this may not be what society and my family wants of me, but I can't deny this any longer. I've got to come out and be me because this is just driving me crazy. And, you know, at
absolutely.
this time, I was also kind of religious too. So I'm kind of thinking, okay, from what I hear from religious point of views, this is kind of frowned upon by the Bible and whatnot.
So you were raised... You know,
I was baptized. I was very active in the church growing up and everything, too. And just kind of after I kind of came out and stuff, I did not have a very positive experience with that. I kind of started with my friends, and they just all laughed. And they're like, oh, shit, we've been waiting for you to say this for years. And I'm like, all right, cool.
We've been waiting for you to come out of the closet for years, yeah.
Yeah. And then my parents, they were not crazy about it. My mother and my stepdad and I did not get along, did not see eye to eye about it. They're like, oh, it's just a phase. This is just something you want to do for attention. No, it's really not, because we don't do this for attention. We don't want all of your negativity constantly thrown at us. That's not something you'd want to ask for anybody, you know? Yeah, I ended up moving out about 15 years old and with a friend of mine because I just couldn't be at home with it. Parents, you know, you're going to hell. This is bullshit. You know, it's just a phase. You know, they were just not accepting. Now we're cool. Everybody's cool. Me and my dad are really close. Me and my stepmom are really tight. Things never really smoothed over on mom's side of the family, but I've got my aunt, so pretty tight with her.
So let's back up just a little bit on this. So, all right, your family, was they, what denomination were they? You know, what did you grow up? I mean, was it more Catholic? Was it just
maybe Baptist?
You know, kind of
general Christianity,
just general Christian? Okay,
yeah,
kind of like non-denominational type of a thing.
Yeah,
or just,
basically.
Okay. So, yeah, I was curious about that. And another thing, it's like, okay, so you mentioned that, you know, with you were born that way. And that's why I kind of, you know, through that story and there with talking to that friend of mine, that, I mean, you are the exception. You know, you're the only person that I know that's truly like that, you know. And I mean, granted, I mean, it's, you know, and science has seen it too. So, I mean, like, I'm not going to say that it can't happen, because, I mean, you are proof that it can. You know, I would pretty well go as far as to say that you're a woman that was born in a guy's body.
But I love being a man. I love my junk. I don't ever want to get rid of it. I don't want to make a transition or anything. I am happy being a man that loves men.
Right. And, you know, and I tell you what, I mean, truth be told, I commend you for that, because, I mean, there's people that go years before they really become comfortable with who they are in their own skin.
I've met quite a few of those,
you know,
yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, that's an issue among a lot of people out there, and it's, you know, it's a shame. But like, okay, let me ask you a question. So, I mean, I'm sure you knew from the get-go that whenever you came out, you were going to be basically blacklisted, black sheep of the family.
Oh, I caught hell.
You knew, yeah, you knew it was going to happen.
Absolutely.
But you also, you know, just time has passed, and, you know, now you guys have, you know, reconciled your relationship, and now you guys are, I guess, for lack of better terms, you're a family again, right?
Yeah.
So, would you change it?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not?
No.
So that's cool, you know. So it's, you know, it's a shame that, you know, and that's one of them things that, you know, I got a bombshell to throw out there. I told you about that bombshell earlier.
Bring it.
Do you think I should bring it? Go ahead and bring it in now?
Blow it up.
All right, guys. Here's what it amounts to. Hypocrisy in the church. And that's, you know, and, okay, with God, with Jesus, with spirituality, I've got nothing against it. It is the institution of religion that I have the problem with.
Absolutely.
You know, it's all based off of the doctrine. And, you know, it's one of them things that we have the Old Testament, we have the New Testament. You know, back in the day, I mean, granted, there's a lot of things out there in the Bible that I'd have to go as far as to say that, you know, it's not an issue anymore. Okay, like if, for instance, you know, you're not supposed to, you know, you're not supposed to eat birds. You're not supposed to eat pork, you know. But nowadays, it's not an issue. You know, it's one of them things that, you know, Jesus talked to Peter about. Not Peter, I'm sorry, Paul, whom originally was Saul. Whole story there. And, I mean, that is truly a story of redemption right there. Just, I mean, if you guys ever have the opportunity to read, you know, like Hebrews, for instance, I think is more or less where it starts. But Hebrews, Amazing book. You know, Hebrews is in the New Testament what Deuteronomy was in the Old Testament. All right. But things in the Old Testament were different than things in the New Testament. So, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, a command that God gave, not really a command, but, you know, a vision that God gave Paul about food and animals was, you know, it's like, hey, you know, I am the creator. I created all things. So if I created the pig, if I created the fowl, how can it be dirty? You know, move on from the Old Testament, join me in the New. That was the whole point of Jesus dying on the cross. So, you know, and I know that we've got some, you know, religious differences in there. And, you know, I don't want to open up that whole can of worms right now. That's for a later show. And we're going to have fun as hell on that show.
Oh, yes.
But you know, that's just one of them things that, you know, so back in the day, Old Testament, guys, I'm bringing Old Testament to it. So back in the day, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into things right after we take a small break. Oh, yeah. I'm leaving you guys in a cliffhanger right now, and I am so utterly proud of myself for it. Ha ha. All right, guys, we're going to take a few minutes, take a small break, and when we get back, a bombshell for you guys. An absolute and utter bombshell.
Brace yourselves.
Oh, brace yourselves, guys. I mean, you if you ain't sitting down, you might want to. A few minutes, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys. So as I was saying before we went to break, you know, I have got a bombshell of some information.
Y'all ready for this?
Yeah. Oh, man. Y'all's better get ready. So, you know, the thing is, when you're talking the difference between Old Testament and New Testament, it's like a child and a teenager as compared to a young adult. You know, the Old Testament was about rules because, you know, we were infants, we were children, we needed rules, we needed that that structure to help guide us in our journey of life as people. You see what, and this one of them things. I had this this question with God, because I am. You can ask my mother. Don't do that. But why? Because I said so. Girl, that don't work for me. No, I'm sorry. And it wasn't a disrespecting kind of thing. Okay, maybe a little bit. Okay. I'm sorry. It's just, but I question things. I question why. I mean, because, there's a reason. My mama said, it was like looking at the stove, she's cooking, and see, we had one of them things called the gas ovens, stoves. What's that thing called? You cook stuff on the top of it? Stove. Yeah. So we had one of those, gas power one. There's flamage on it, and you can see the flamage. It's right there. And she was like, "Don't touch that. It's hot." And I go, "Okay, mommy." Reach my hand up and, ow! Burn myself. Why? Not because I was stupid.
Curious.
Oh, okay, maybe a little bit, but I wanted to know. Not whether it was hot, because I believe my mama when she said it was hot. But what I wanted to know was, how hot is it? And how are you going to know that if you don't touch it? That's why I touch it. It's because I want to know how hot it is. So, but that's how God was with us. God didn't want us to not eat pork because, come on, guys, let's face it.
Bacon.
Oh, God, yes. You
Bacon
have got to
shit.
be kidding me. I can't be a Jew because bacon.
Couldn't do it.
I can't be Muslim because bacon. No, that was the deal killer right there, bacon. But the reason was pork is I don't want to say it's a dirty meat, but it is a meat that is very susceptible to its environment. Pork is only as clean as the environment that it was kept in. A pig is only as clean as its environment. So if you've got just a nasty, filthy environment, your pork is going to be nasty and filthy. You see, back in the day, back in Old Testament, we didn't know about microorganisms, and we didn't know about botulism and food poisoning and any of that crap. So God, instead of telling us microorganisms, because he knew that we'd be like, psh, you're insane. If I can't see it with my own eyes, it's not real. Hello. But that's what it amounted to. He was protecting us as a child. So now it's no big deal. It doesn't matter. Now we are under a new covenant, okay? So let's break it down a little bit. Old school rules, New Testament. Now, I'm not going to break it down so far as to what Peter did with taking the 10 commandments and breaking them down to just 2. You see, he took all 10 of them and he boiled down to 2. Love God, love people. That's what it was. That's the only you boil everything down to it's just boil it down to its bare minimum meaning, and you have 2, and that's it. But I'm going to put all 10 of them in there. Now here's the bombshell, guys. Are you ready for this? This is amazing. All right, and this is a hypocrisy type of a thing, okay? Because when it comes to being gay, and I've told you this before too, John, because it's like, different place on this one. It's like, whenever during the fall of man, we had, I'm sorry, I had a text message. Brandon, still, yeah, I am. Oh, you suck, dude. No, I'm not answering. You can call the show. But anyway, I'm sorry, guys. I had a slight, sorry. Anyway,
Anyway,
what was I talking about? Oh yeah, but crap, dude. I hate it whenever I get distractions like that. I'm ADD enough as it is to get me off that train, and the train just goes bye bye. Now it's like shit. So, but anyway, the fall of man. Eve had her curse, Adam had his curse, and now you've got John over here. He found a loophole in it. He doesn't have to put up with this whole women in their period and all that bullshit, you know. He found a loophole, and that's some bullshit. And that's what the problem is with gay people. It's not that they're gay. This guy's pissed off at him because they found a loophole. All right. That's funny shit. But no, guys, see, it's about love. You know, it really is. Because I want to boil it down to you something simple. All right? Now, here's my bombshell. Thou shalt not steal, there is. Thou shalt not have butt sex, there is not. Get over yourself.
Amen.
That's what it amounts to. See, it's about love, guys. It's about love. It's about accepting who somebody is for whom somebody is. It ain't about racism. It ain't about the color of their skin. Dr. Martin Luther King had it right. He wanted a colorblind society. He wanted a society where people didn't look at that type of stuff. They looked at, you know, the merit of their character and judged them based off of that. Not judged them, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? But that's what it was about. That's what it's supposed to be about. You know, so just, there's your bombshell, guys. You know, how important can it be if God didn't include it in one of the 10 Commandments? Now, I mean, granted, and, you know, John, you and I have talked about this before, too, that, you know, there is a health risk involved. But with modern medicine and different things like that, even still, it's not as big of a deal as what it would have been back then.
Exactly.
You know, and it's really not. So let's get back to your story. Okay, so there's still a couple more things that, you know, I'm kind of curious about, you know.
Ask away, open book over here.
All right. So you are how old?
24 years old.
24, okay. I'm 37. I'm starting to, you know, get up there a little bit. A few more months, I'm going to be, how did I say? Well, 37. Yeah, so I'm going to be 38 here in just like a few months. So, but anyway, you know, so 24. And this is one of them things that impressed me about you is that you discovered yourself. I mean, I've got friends that just, dude, my father, okay, before he passed away, he was like, you know, I'm proud of you, son, because you finally discovered what you wanted to do, what you wanted to be when you grew up. And this is whenever I got my CDL, you know, so here you are, and you are more emotionally secure than people twice your age. And that is astounding to me, you know, so about how old were you whenever you figured it out, you know, as far as your sexuality goes?
I was 15 when I finally came all out with it.
Okay. And that's when did you figure it out?
I think I might have figured it out sometime before then. Just kind of like I said, I felt like I always knew. Mm-hmm. Wasn't exactly sure how to get it out there and actually live with it and be okay with myself and grow into the person that I am now. So I took the first step by just admitting it to myself. That's who I was. That wasn't going to change, and came out with it to the world and the people around me.
Awesome. So was it something that you had help with? You know, did you have anybody in your life at that time that you can confide in and, you know, just talk about your struggle? You did?
I did have my friends. I had my aunt, Brenda, very, very close relative to me. Actually, when I was coming out to my mother, I was on the phone with my friend Veronica, and we were always hanging out back in the day. So Veronica's on the phone with me. Her mom's on the other line too, you know, just to be supportive. And I go to tell my mom I have something to tell you, and she goes, "Did you knock her up?" And I was like, "No, complete opposite." So yeah, I did have some emotional support there from other friends and some family there too before I was able to come all out with this. And yeah, mother didn't take it so well and went and talked to me for a week, and downhill from there. You know,
that's one of them things, and it's a sad thing, and that's one of them things that I tell you what, I struggle with this right now, is that our parents have a, you know, and this isn't a knock on anybody's parents. This isn't a knock on anybody as a parent. This is just how we are. You know, we all have that idea of whom we want our children to be. you know, and it's a sad thing whenever we are too busy having an expectation put over our children that we don't take the time to get to know our children despite our expectations, you know, and that's a sad thing. I mean, I'm dealing with that right now in my own life. You know, it truly is. It's a sad thing, you know, and I commend you for taking that step. I mean, that was you had to have been terrified.
Oh, I was scared shitless.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine, you know, I'm one of them weird people that's like, I mean, I didn't struggle with it. I always pretty well, but then again, I mean, I didn't have near the struggle that you did because, you know, my sexuality wasn't questioned by my spirituality. You know what I mean? And at that time, I didn't even question whether it was right or whether it was wrong. You know, of course, I mean, I knew what people in the church said. I knew what religious people said. Truth be told, I don't want to say I didn't question. I didn't think about it. You know, it wasn't an issue with me. I didn't, you know, during the time, I mean, I didn't know anybody that was gay. I didn't think about it. It wasn't even a social issue at the time. I mean, we're talking, good grief, I graduated 20 years ago. So, I mean, it wasn't an issue, you know, back then. And you know, not that there wasn't gay guys. I mean, granted, I have some friends that I went to school with that, oh yeah, they were gay. And they were obviously, it's like, I don't know as if they knew yet, but if they didn't know, they were the only ones that didn't know that they wasn't gay.
Right.
Everybody else knew. So, you know, it was just one of them things that we all knew, but, you know, my sexuality it didn't go against my church beliefs, you know. So, I mean, I didn't have that type of a struggle. So, I mean, I couldn't even imagine what you went through with that. That had to have been hell.
Actually, when I came out, I had a grandma who just started bawling, and, I wanted to see you in heaven, and now you're going to hell. And I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of news to me. Doesn't God just love everybody? I haven't heard this one before. And that's when I kind of started getting a little scared and kind of losing faith in it a little bit, but, you know, pulled through it. And it was like, it's love. It really just all comes down to loving each other. That's Precisely. The main thing.
Yeah, it's about, I mean, that's really what it's about. See, God doesn't want that book of rules with us. He wants that relationship with us, you know, and that's one of them things that I brought up whenever I was talking about with Moses and the Ten Commandments, you know, because God never wanted that book of rules. It was because of our own inadequacies that the Israelites had with themselves, and it was their choice to put somebody between them and God, that they didn't want to go directly to God because they were terrified of it, but they was terrified of their own inadequacies in life, you know, in a matter of speaking. I mean, I could be speaking out my butt right now, just like farting, but I think in a matter of speaking, that's what it kind of boiled down to. I mean, they were ashamed of their own inadequacies. So that's why, you know, just that whole naked thing in the Garden of Eden, their own inadequacies, in a matter of speaking, you know, not entirely. There's some other stuff in there too, but we won't get into that. But I covered that on other ones. You know, those are other podcasts you can listen to on Religion Ho-Ho's Way. So, but yeah, good times though, good times. So one of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about was in regards to just social acceptance, you know. So we have talked about your struggle with your family, and that really coincides along too with your spiritual questioning of it. Actually, that's where you were kind of going with. So, I mean, was there anything in particular about your spiritual life that really affected in a negative manner, or anything of that, negative or positive, really? So
it did in a bit, but in a way, it kind of set me on the path that I am on now.
Right.
And I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay.
It did make me question some things, which made me, of course, seek answers to the missing pieces, which I did found through spirituality, and I got my answers, and I'm pretty happy with them.
Very good. Okay. And those details is for another show.
Absolutely.
We won't get into those right now, but those are some amazing topics too that we're going to be having in a later podcast. So the next one was, I really should have wrote some of this crap down. I mean, I'm doing this completely from memory. So, okay, here we go. Social acceptance. Now, I mean, granted, I know we live in, I mean, this isn't Chicago. This isn't New York City, New York State, whatever. This isn't, California, some of the big cities.
We live in. Life.
Exactly. So, I mean, we live in small town, central Illinois. We've got like 140. We've got people that live here, and we have a population in this town. I don't know. There's a 1 to 4, maybe another 1 and a bunch of zeros in there. Yeah, I don't know.
It's not that big.
Yeah, it's not that big. I mean, we just recently got a Starbucks, and it's inside a grocery store. I mean, come on, we're not real big. Yeah, we don't have a lot. We're a city, but just barely. So, social acceptance. I mean, that's kind of what a lot of people probably struggle with as far as being gay. So what was it like for you in the social environment?
Absolutely. Well, shortly after I put that out there, I got to throw out there, I am thankful that I had the tight close-knit group of friends that I have and still have to this day, because they made things a lot bearable and easier. Walking up and down the halls in high school every day was always a challenge. You always had the big jock guys that wanted to call you faggot, wanted to start a fight with you in the hallway. Oh, and there was knockdown, drag-out fights in the hallways just to survive some days. I also faced it from some teachers. I would say that there were some homophobic teachers that would talk down to you and treat you like shit and try to just make an absolute fool out of you at any opportunity they could. A lot of them that would look the other way and pretend they didn't see any of the fighting that was going on and stand up for the kids that were starting the shit in the first place.
Oh, that's horse shit.
Absolutely. Faced a lot of that. Actually, we finally did get the one kid suspended. He was a douchebag, but,
that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot of that. PE class, I just refused to dress. I was like, I'm sick of you guys because everybody flipped shit soon as I got in the locker room thinking I'm going to be checking them out and everything. I don't give a shit. I just want to get out of this class as bad as you do.
Because you're gay that you're sexually attracted to every guy you see.
No.
And that's, and truth be told, that's a common, again, and this goes back to
common misconception.
Yeah, but that's just one of them things that it's like, oh my God, guys, are you so full of yourself? Do you think every guy, just because they're gay, wants to?
And let me tell you, the majority of these assholes was nothing to look at. Okay, let me just throw that out.
I mean, come on, I know where you live. It's like, yeah, there ain't nothing. No, it's not like we got a Justin Timberlake in this town. We really don't.
Fuck no.
I mean, come on, this is.
No, we don't.
And again, I mean, that's just part of that aspect that I was talking about, earlier was, is just people that haven't come to terms with who they are. And I mean, truth be told, I truly do think that a lot of homophobia comes from not knowing yourself. That's one of them great lines that was spoken of in The Matrix, that Latin word that the Oracle had above that doorframe. I don't know what it said, but it meant know thyself.
Yes.
Very, very important, for anybody. Know thyself. So I thought that was huge. So getting out of high school then, and yeah, that's a crock of shit what you went through at school.
I actually ended up dropping out. I couldn't take the bullshit anymore between family and school, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to start, working, I did get my GED as soon as I got out. I was responsible and got a job and just started working and trying to make a life for myself.
Yeah. Awesome. So, as an adult, do you really find yourself struggling with the same things that you did in high school?
No, not really. Not as much, no. You still have your people that are going to think what they want about you no matter what. Right. But it seems like the older you get, they tone down on it. I don't really face a lot of hate or repression in this town anymore. And then again, in all honesty, I don't give a fuck. I'm going to do whatever I want and go wherever I want. And you can think whatever the fuck you want. And it doesn't affect my life one way or another.
And I'm glad you put it that way, because that's exactly one of the places I was going with it is your attitude on it as an adult. Is it because you think people are taking it different, or because you no longer give a shit about what other people think of you because you found you?
I think that's exactly what it is. I found me. I'm happy with who I am. And if you don't like it, well, fuck you.
Exactly.
kind of how I feel about shit nowadays.
Right. And, you know, and that's one of them things. And this goes out to, you know what? I'm going to let you say that. To the younger generation out there, okay? What would you say to them that kind of help them out in their road in dealing with their own sexuality? What would you say to them?
Always just be true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't deceive yourself. Don't let anything stop you or turn you aside from being what you want to be. Society, your parents, your friends, your family, whatever. Just be you. You'll be happier in the long run.
Okay. And another thing about that too is, you know, it's things will get better.
Absolutely. They always do.
High school is temporary. High school is full of a bunch of children that don't know nothing. And, you know, it's temporary. You know, and that's one of them things too that I think is very important for really anybody, you know, not just gays, not just, you know, lesbians, not anybody and everybody, that it will get better. You know, high school is 4 years, you know,
and once it's over, nobody gives a shit.
Exactly. You know, once you kind of, I mean, dude, there's a lot of people that I went to high school with that they are not the same person now that they was back then. I'm not the same person I'm not the same person now that I was back then. So, I mean, people do grow up, guys. And I'm not, you know, there was my arch enemy. I mean, not really arch enemy, but just one of the kids that we hated each other. It was a mutual thing. And, you know, out of high school, without the pressures, you know, the social pressures that people put on each other and the class warfare. You want class warfare, go to a high school.
Absolutely.
I mean, holy crap. That's where, oh my God. But that's where it really, you know, it's shit. I mean,
it's shit.
It is.
Exactly what it is.
You know, and that's where we learn that class warfare kind of thing. But once you get out of high school, I mean, good God, guys.
Life is completely different. It's just beginning when you get out of there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But it will get better. I promise. It's exactly. I mean, it's temporary. It's not that big of a deal. So that pretty well covers it with the questions that I had for you on that. We're going to take a small break here, and when we get back, I got a couple articles that I'm really wanting to get your input on, as far as, you know, what's your 2 cents as a member of the rainbow community? How do you feel about these stories? And, you know, this is how I feel about them, and let's see if we can, as two people and as a society, you know, not so much as a agree to disagree, but where we can come together on things.
Common ground.
You know, exactly, that common ground. And that's really something that is extremely important, if you ask me. It's that common ground. So, small break. When we get back, couple articles like to cover. So, just a couple minutes. Thank you very much. We will be back. All right. Well, sorry about that.
And we're back.
I was a little on the busy side during the break. I do apologize about that. And so the couple of the stories that I was wanting to get to is sitting right here on my phone. Oh, yeah. It's right there. Parental guidance is suggested in listening to this
suggested.
show. All right, guys. Now, I get all of my stories from Flipboard. It is my go-to hub for anything, everything, and all things news. And this one comes from the Daily Wire. Headline, 12-year-old boy transitions to female. Then this happens just 2 years later. And, you know, the story itself, I don't really want to say that the story isn't important. But, you know, it brings up a very important topic that is definitely something that I want to discuss with you and kind of get your 2 cents on and what you feel about it. Now, personally with this one, you know, it's okay. At 12 years old, when I was a boy, many years ago, I just discovered that I had a penis and he had a mind of his own. You know, I mean, guys really do have 2 minds. You know, we have 2 heads, we have 2 minds. It's just kind of the way it is. And sometimes, you know, just like a cat, you know, to where a cat's eyes open a week after birth, a guy's penis opens his eyes like 12 years after birth, and that's whenever he starts looking at the world through his eyes. And this is totally separate than our own mentality. Is not the same at all. So, you know, for somebody whom is, you know, 12 years old, he's just kind of realizing, he's just discovering himself physically. And, I mean, let's face it, I mean, when I was a kid, I can't say as if I truly had an identity of my own. You know, I was a child. I was trying to figure things out. You know, at 12 years old, I couldn't stay up past 9, 8, or whatever. You know, I couldn't stay up past then. I had a curfew. I had a bedtime. You know, my life was, you know, pretty well planned by my parents. You know, and this isn't a knock on that. I mean, this is discipline. This is how it's done. You know, I mean, if I had it to my own mind, if I had if it was my choice. Oh, good God, my childhood would have been totally different. I would have went to school every day dressed like a Transformer because it was amazing. You know, every day would have been Halloween. You know, but as a child, I don't see how you can have even an elementary understanding on sexuality. You know, I mean, because you're just coming into your body. You know, so what say you on that?
I do have to agree with you on that, especially at such a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, it's different. You really don't know how everything works yet. You're still a kid. You're still trying to figure out what it's like to be alive, you know, and get out there in the world and see shit. You really don't know anything at that age.
Yeah.
So I can't really... I just think it's kind of strange that he went through the transition that he did at such a young age without ever experiencing what it was like to... a guy in the first place,
right?
Know,
exactly.
And what all the equipment is used for.
Yeah. But I mean, that's just kind of what I took from that story, you know. And quite honestly, I mean, I think this is one of the things that, I mean, you know, this had to have been, and this is a personal thing because I'll be honest with you, I did not read a lot into this story, you know, but to see it really. I mean, just think about what they did to that kid because, you know, 2 years later at 14, he's like, you know, I'm okay with my body now. I want to be a boy again. And, you know, by then he had already had, you know, gene therapy. You know, he already had female body parts. The the breastises. He'd already gotten those because of the gene therapy. And it's like, really?
Now you want to take all that off and be a boy again.
Yeah, well, I mean, not only that, but it's like, okay, as a parent, what the fuck are you doing?
That's what I want to know.
That's
what the hell kind of parent condone this?
Yeah, I mean, do you really think that your own child, a 12-year-old, is really capable of making a decision like that is going to affect them for the rest of their lives? I mean, do you really go to some place and let them pick out their own, hairstyle? No. Every boy be walking around with a 2-foot fucking mohawk. I mean, really?
Mohawks.
It's like, I don't get it. What the hell were these parents thinking letting their kid do that? And again, this isn't anything about transgenders or anything like that. I don't care. What's most important in this is whether you are comfortable with your own body. But it's like, do I really want to go there? I think I will.
Okay, let's go for it.
I think I will. Just so you know, this is a disclaimer. If you are part of the rainbow community, you're going to be pissed off at me. Just saying. I think you'll be fine because you know me.
Mm-hmm.
You know my heart. You know who I am. You know how I am. Science basically claims, and their stance on this. Okay, you know what? I'm not even going to put it on the science. I'm not going to bring science into it. Kindergarten cop taught me with Arnold Schwarzenegger that boys have a penis, girls have a vagina. It's an X chromosome, it's a Y chromosome. If you have one of each, you're a guy. If you have only the X's, then you're a woman. It is what it is. There ain't no changing that. Gender and race, your color, the pigmentation of your skin is not a social construct. It is biology. It is science. I love it.
Yes.
How these fucking liberal fucktards out there, they make us, they want to make us as a society believe that they care so much about science whenever they're talking about global warming, which is bullshit, and climate change, which is horseshit, because Hilaire is climate, it changes, it has for a very long time. We call these seasons, just in case you didn't know. We learned about these a long, long time ago. It's hot in the summertime, it's cold in the wintertime. That is climate change. Them's called seasons. Just so you know. Preach on, brother. But then whenever you've got this coming out, it's biology, oh, no, fuck science. Just because science says it, and again, this ain't knocking anybody's sexual orientation. I don't care. What the problem is that people now are going through lives being told by their own person, or not by their own person, by their own people, that you shouldn't be comfortable in your own skin. And then they go out and they have these sex changes. They go out and do these gene therapies. And it's like, are you kidding me? I'm sorry, but I heard something, and I kid you not, it was horrible. It saddened me. It truly did. Whenever I heard this, it truly saddened me. It's the suicide rate of people who do these type of sex altering surgeries. They're killing themselves. It's like, I mean, it's kind of one of them things, and it like goes up 20%, I think is what the number I heard. Just, the odds of somebody who has a surgery like that, the odds of suicide goes up 20%.
Well, it just fucks with you.
Exactly. I mean, if you've got to be comfortable in your own skin, guys. I mean, you really do. I mean, if you truly feel that that's something you have to do, that you need to do for you, just please stop and think about it. Take some time. do some self-examination. Get the hell away from social media and other people out there that claim to be your friends. That's like one of them things with women's lib. Oh yeah, you can, if you want to be a woman, you can be a woman, but you got to be a woman by our rules and our standards. And if you're not, then you ain't a real woman. If
right.
you
Get away from this stuff and see if this is something that you want, or if you're just pulling this in from whatever the world around you is telling you need to be.
Exactly. And that's where my problem is with this. I mean, it's like, to force that on a 12-year-old child, do some fucking research, guys, knowing what this could possibly do to him as an adult. It truly does sadden me to just, wow. I mean, what else can you say to that? It appalls me. So, I mean, do you really have anything more to add on that?
All in all, when it comes down to it, even being in the rainbow community, I'm a guy that likes guys. I don't understand why why you need to change your sex to be that. I don't quite understand the whole transgender stuff myself, but I don't condemn it. If that's what makes you happy, if that's who you want to be, and, that's going to make you happy, then fine, go for it. I may not get it, but whatever floats your boat,
You know what? And I'm going to be honest with you. That's one of the reasons why I absolutely love you, because you are real and you are true to you and you get it. You're seeing what's going on out there and you're like, oh my God, guys, what's wrong with you?
Yes.
And it's like, it's crazy what the rainbow community is putting on themselves, and
they are drawing some crazy, unnecessary attention to themselves, I have to say.
Oh yeah.
And they're wondering why they're facing such negativity and criticism from the world they're being a bunch of fucking babies, to be honest. But
right, that's like, them gay parades. It's like,
granted,
really?
They are fun, but...
that would... No. That's like one of the
one
things...
or two was enough for me, let's just put it that way.
Right, that's one of them things, too. And
it's almost too gay. And yes, I have said that about quite a few things in my life, but that is way too gay for me.
I have absolutely heard you say that a couple times, like, wow, that is too queer for me. And it's like, wow. Oh, and by the way, all right, this is just a little a little update on something. One of my coworkers, I told him about the deal I said to you like last year or 2 years ago, that whole, you come with me to a strip joint and I'll go with you to a gay bar.
Oh, hell yeah.
And he was like, oh, hell yeah. Call me up, let me know. Me and my wife want to go too. Now, his thing was, it's like I can skip the strip club, but the rest of it sounds amazing. And I told him, I go, truth be told, I'll skip the strip club too. I don't really want to go, but I think a gay bar would be amazing. And it's like, so we got 2 more people that want to go with us whenever we end up actually doing this. Oh, you ain't kidding. That's going to be a good time.
And personally, I can have as much fun looking at female strippers as I can male strippers. Mm-hmm. I don't care. It's just about the environment and the people that I'm with that makes it the good time.
It's a good time. It is a good time. But yeah, update on that little thing that we got going on.
Okay.
But all right, so the next story, we're going to take another quick break here. Wow, this is going an hour already. I kind of figured it was going to be at least an hour.
Did not feel like it's been this long.
No, it did not. All right, so we got one more song I want to play. Quick break, and then quick break song thing, and then the last topic that I love ADD, it's amazing. Last topic I want to discuss before we really call it quits, and we let everybody get on with their day. But all right, so one more song. Y'all have a great one. This has been a good time. I am having so much fun with this. So when we get back, enjoy, in the meantime, this 70s funk. All right, and we're back.
Hello, hello.
That was quick. I was really oops. I look over at the countdown and 4, 3, shit. Yep, it really happened. Really happened. All right, guys. The last story, and this one I have brought as soon as my phone quits being a little dirt, it'll be a good time. So there it is. All right. Now this one, I don't really give a shit about the article. This is out of the New York Times. Headline, Cake is his art. So can he deny one to a gay couple? Now this is one of them stories that's been floating around. I can't say that this is the first one I heard. The first one I heard it was it was a gay cake, Well, okay, I have no idea the sexual orientation of this cake. I don't know. I never asked it. It never said. I ate it. It was delicious. Okay, maybe not. Anywho.
What kind of cake are we talking about here?
A gay cake. Yeah. But basically the story that I heard was, a couple, they had gone into a privately owned establishment, and they had, frequented this place. They have, they have bought cakes. They have bought cupcakes. Almost said butt cakes. They bought, cupcakes and regular cakes and whatnot. They were very familiar with this guy's work. He was a good baker. They liked his cake. And so whenever the time came for them to get married, they went to this guy and they were like, hey, we want you to design, bake and design our wedding cake. And, and that's one of them things that as a baker, cake is your art, and as an art, you're putting your art and soul, you're putting your heart and soul into it, and because of that, and because of his religious beliefs, he was like, he denied him, and this wasn't about them. This was about his own relationship with the God that he knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said it exactly like that. And I said it like that for a reason. It was because of his relationship with how he understood God to be. That's why he was like, I can't do this. It violates my religion. I have a religion of freedom here. And I cannot, under good conscience, put my heart and soul onto something that I don't believe is right. And I get that. I disagree with him. Because personally, I don't give two shits. I mean, I would do it. But I mean, that's one of them things though too. I mean, that's the difference between, going to, like, let's say you and your significant other decide to get married. There's a difference between you asking me to go as a guest and me asking me to go as a priest and actually do the ceremony.
Right.
That's a completely different thing. Personally, I would have absolutely no problem with it because I know your heart, you know mine, and I know that God's heart is love, and therefore I would have no problem with it. But, some people, everybody's got their own little variance on how they think things are supposed to be. But I mean, I understand where the guy was coming from.
Absolutely.
And I don't blame him for that. For the simple fact is, I would not want, and this is one of them things, guys, when it comes to freedom, and I don't give two shits about it, where you fall on an issue, I don't care where you fall on a topic, but when it comes to freedom, constitutional freedom, something I will stand by you. I don't care how liberal you are. I will stand by you for freedom. I will stand by you on the grounds of the Constitution. That I don't think, that if the Southern Baptist Church went in there to the owner or the proprietor of a baker and said, hey, I want to buy a cake off of you, and I want you to put some anti-gay message on this cake, I would say absolutely not. You go to hell.
That baker's going to be like, oh, hell no, you didn't. Get the fuck up out of my store.
Exactly. Yeah. And they should have the right to do that. And again, I'm sorry about that. Not that I would condemn anybody's soul to hell. Absolutely I'm not saying that. No. That is condemnation. That is what the Bible means when it says, thou shalt not judge a motherfucker. That's what it's saying, and that's what it means by that. You don't want to judge somebody's soul to hell. Not a guilty verdict. Condemn somebody's soul. That's what it means to damn somebody, and that's bad. I ain't saying that. But, anybody should have the right to say no to somebody whom is asking them in the form of an art to go against their beliefs. And I'll stand with them on that. I will fight with them tooth and nail that, no, you should not have to do that. But neither should anybody else have to do that either. The golden rule, treat others as you'd want to be treated. You wouldn't want to be abused like that. Neither should anybody else. Truth be told, what I think it really boils down to, guys, grow up.
Exactly.
Couldn't
put it any better.
Yeah. I mean, just grow up. We're all people. Grow up.
And just don't deny people cake, because cake is fucking awesome. Cake
is
great.
Hell yeah, it is. Oh, cake is good. Cake, you know what I'm offended of?
What?
Devil's food cake.
Oh.
Want to know why I'm offended about devil's food cake?
Why is that?
Because they put the devil in that amazing, delicious food that could only have come from the heavenly host himself.
Right?
I mean, come on.
Should have been heaven's food cake.
It should be. I mean, they already have angel food cake. They already do have that. And that is fluffy and amazing. Mm-hmm. Just gonna throw that out there. But devil's food cake,
Oh.
You want to talk about,
oh my God.
A mouthgasm.
Yes. Had one of those today. I don't know if you guys have had them or not, but the Chips Ahoy cookies with the Reese's baked into them.
Uh-huh.
Holy shit. Total mouthgasm.
Very amazing. Oh,
anyway,
I love
sorry,
mouthgasms.
off topic, but
oh, hey, that is perfectly okay. So, all right, guys, I thank you guys very much for joining us today. It's been an awesome show, and I am going to be having, John with me on a couple different episodes. We've already talked about it. We're definitely going to get this going. At the moment, it's kind of one of them things that my work schedule is about to really just fall into place and be what it's supposed to be. And whenever we are actually able to do a back-to-back Saturday and Sunday show, we're going to be doing just a small series, and both episodes are going to have, one of them is going to be on the Ho-Ho Show, the other one on this show, and they're going to be about Harry Dresden. The Harry Dresden community, the Dresden Files, baby. We've got...
You're going to love it.
Yes.
And if you have not read them, go to your local library or Amazon.com right now and get you some books to read.
Oh, yeah. It is available on Kindle as a, as a digital.
Butcher.
Yes, Jim Butcher is the author. And also, and this is one of them things, too. I mean, I read 4 full books and then maybe halfway through book number 5. And as a truck driver... I may not have a lot of time to read, but I have got all kinds of time to listen to an audiobook. And I got those on Audible, and I have got every single one of his books, all 15 of them. And he's also got 2 other books outside that, one of them called Working with Bigfoot, which is a short story. It's a collection. It's got 4 short stories in it. And then he's also got another book out there called Side Jobs.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And all of those are amazing books. I cannot recommend those enough. But audible.com, the narrator is James Marsters. Amazing guy, amazing narrator. You know who that is? That's awesome.
That's Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, isn't it? James Marsters?
Fuck, I don't know.
Pretty sure
I'm not a vampire. Who?
Pretty sure that's Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, I know. I've not watched.
I want to say I could be wrong on that, but that's where that name sounded
familiar. Yeah, but James Marsters, Marsters, he is an amazing narrator, guys. He really does a very good job with these books, just bringing it to life. Whenever he's being, Bob the Skull, he's got a voice that comes out of his mouth that just,
and I love Bob. Bob is the shit.
He's got, a little attitude and just little tinge in his voice whenever he's doing Butters, and he's got that attitude in his voice whenever he's doing Karen Murphy, and and whenever he's doing the brother,
Thomas.
the half brother Tomas, throwing that little French accent in there. But he is a very, very good orator, storyteller,
something like that.
Audio storyteller. Yeah, he does a great job, guys, and I can't recommend those books enough on Audible. I mean, it's one of them things. If you don't have time to read, it is nothing to just play it on your phone and put in your headphones, or just play it on your stereo or whatever, and just listen to it while you're doing whatever. So I mean, very good books. That's what the next 2 episodes that we're going to be doing together are going to be about. Very awesome. So again, guys, this is my guest, John, and he is host of Phoenix Radio, available on Spreaker.com. Just go ahead and throw Phoenix Radio into the search, 2 different words, just a space in between those, and check him out. He also knows a couple other people that's in the, that just started recently doing podcasting. So I'd invite you to go ahead and check those out.
Check out Montana Vaughn, Such as Life. She's got some interesting takes on just everyday life.
Yeah. So, feel free, go ahead and, pull them up, listen to them. And if it's something you're interested in, if it's something you want to gain more perspective on stuff out of the spiritual aspect of things, especially with John's show, I invite you, even if you don't agree with it, take a listen anyway. Like I've mentioned before, I mean, there are things spiritually speaking that, we disagree on, but there is still, there is still that bond.
Back to the bond and that common ground.
Yes, that common ground, because that's what it's about, guys. It's, don't just put a label on somebody just because it's easier for you to, cast them aside out of your way. Nah, man, it's that common ground, because you might find out, and this really is how my journey was, that you'll come to find out if you ask them more about what they believe, who they are, and all this other kind of different stuff, that you might find out that you've got more in common than what you think. And I'm going to throw a for instance on there. And this is, I'm going to give a for instance on this. All right. He believes in the God and the goddess as 2 separate people. Okay. Do you care to elaborate on that, or is that pretty well,
little different on that? Like I said, when I started differentiating on my spirituality, I did kind of look into Wicca. What I classify myself as a Wiccan or a pagan right now? Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, I kind of take things from different things and kind of blend them together. I try to find the common ground in religions.
Right.
And
so as far as your God complex goes, I mean, how do you really see that?
I kind of see it more now as God, but through the other face that I had, how everything in the world, resonates at a negative and a positive, a male and a female. Okay. I see that God may have a feminine side as well as a masculine side, but he is still one God. Right.
Okay. So that kind of has developed in with our talking together then, and other things. Okay. So that's one of them things. And, obviously, so John and I has talked about this before in the past, but, with a lot of people on the Wiccan side, they believe in both the God and the goddess, as to where with me, and this comes from, scripture, that, you cannot, God is the creator. He's creator of all. He was the person behind the intelligent design. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Like
I may write that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
That's write that. We got pins. Yes, but that is the fuck. How did I say? I don't remember. But
we'll get back to it.
Yeah, it's recorded. I can go back to it. But anyway, I didn't think about that. Holy shit! But anyway, this is why ADD people should always do radio. So, intelligent design, and. God made both Adam and Eve in his image. So how can God make Eve a feminine if he himself is not feminine?
Hence the goddess, I say with air quotes.
Exactly. And that's just, that's one of the aspects of finding a common ground when it comes to religion. Like I said, you may find through patience, through peace, through love to bring understanding, you may find out you got way more in common than what you realize. And that's where I leave you today, guys. That is
Food for thought.
That is my where the rubber meets the road. You know, it's about love. It's about understanding. It's about treating others as you want to be treated. It's about growing up and being the person that you want to be. Oh, I'm throwing so many Confucius say, and I'm throwing so many fortune cookies in here that it's amazing. I love fortune cookies.
Oh my God, yes.
But anyway, guys, I thank you very much for joining me today. And, oh yeah. Good night. Sleep tight. And if the bed bugs bite, then by golly, bite them back.
Hell yeah.